What is this leucine stuff, Mitch? And why did you suddenly feel the need to start taking it? That's a question that's asked quite a bit of me these days since I started talking about the fact that I'm starting a regimen to supplement with leucine, one of the 9 essential amino acids. Took a lot of my viewers by surprise, but I have very distinct reasons to be starting this particular regimen at this particular time. I've been doing it for a few days now. While it's way too early to tell, my initial response to this has been quite positive. So I'm hopeful. But rather than just tell you what I'm doing, let me tell you why. My thinking, what a tremendous amount of reading, video watching, and other research. What I finally came up with that made simple, common sense with the very small risk, if any, of a downside or harm from it. It all started when I started to get old. Not a unique problem. I was doing okay, eating a lot of protein, working out at the gym, building muscle, getting stronger as I moved further into old age. And then I had the stroke. Bedridden, inactive during months of recovery. The dreaded condition known as sarcopenia reared its ugly head. Sarcopenia, according to Dr. Google, is a condition characterized by the loss of muscle mass, strength, and function, particularly common in older adults, which would be me. It can lead to falls, fractures, and difficulty with daily activities, impacting independence and overall quality of life. Factors like aging, inactivity, poor nutrition, and certain diseases can contribute to its development. Basically, it means beginning of the death process, wasting away. And I'm not going to have any of that, but I found myself thrust into it against my will because of the stroke. When I got to treatment, because I'd experienced it, I've lost a lot of muscle mass in the last 5 months. It says exercise, particularly resistance training. And I said, right, but I just had a stroke and I'm trying to recover from that. And a healthy diet, including adequate protein intake. Then they talk about vitamin D and omega-3s and other things that may be helpful, but I don't put much stock in Google's medical recommendations. I knew I needed to do something. I needed to build muscle back. I needed to regain my strength. I needed to be able to do it in a somewhat impaired state, since I'm still relearning to walk and gaining function in both my right leg and my right arm. So going to the gym and working out hard is not an option for me. Neither is walking for miles. Not an option. So armed with the givens that, number one, I'm getting older. Number two, I'm recovering from a stroke. Number three, I'm experiencing this sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass and strength. I started doing quite a bit of research a few months ago into what seemed to be the most popular things that somebody that finds himself, like I am, and many other people, simply getting older, what can we do about it? And of all the things I read, 2 supplements, 2 solutions popped right up and were always there and always talked about, one more than the other. The big one, creatine. We've all heard about creatine, not to be confused with creatinine and other words that sound like creatine. But creatine is a supplement, and I considered that, and I'm going to also add that to my regimen, but not until I stay on the first thing I decided on for a little while to see what the results are. And the first thing, the number one thing that I thought would be the best way to start was an essential amino acid called leucine. So it says here, leucine, an essential amino acid, plays a vital role in muscle growth, repair, and overall metabolic health. It's a key component in muscle protein synthesis and helps regulate blood sugar levels. Well, I'm not really too concerned about that. Additionally, leucine may aid in wound healing, improve metabolism, and potentially increase human growth hormone levels. And I said, I want all of that. So I went on and started researching leucine. And there's so much when you think about things like this. What do you take? Where do you get it? How often do you take it? Do you take it in combination with other things? Is there a better time of the day to take it? One thing after another, I just started reading studies, watching videos, and I pieced together this protocol that I'm on from a few clues and hints that I heard here and there. And basically, the theory behind it is that leucine stimulates mTOR. mTOR. mTOR controls the regulation of so much of our metabolism, muscle protein synthesis. mTOR has a threshold level, which kind of jumpstarts it. How do you get leucine to stimulate mTOR past the threshold level to actually get in there and go to work? It also hydrates the cells. It pushes water into the cells. And with all the reading and all the thinking and all the logic I could muster up, I decided there was some advice that said best to do this in a fasted state first thing in the morning after hydration. Throw the leucine in a cup of coffee and drink it down, and that the caffeine in the coffee helps get your mTOR to that threshold level, which will then start or supercharge muscle protein synthesis, and you'll actually start to build muscles and repair muscles again. Is it the only way to make it work? Not really. Some people take their leucine in the afternoon. Some people take it before exercise, after exercise. Exercise is another important component. So I came up with this protocol. Is it the perfect protocol? Who knows? Can I tweak it down the road, fine tune it, change something, make it better? Maybe. But you got to start somewhere. So here's what I do. I get up early in the morning. Before I do anything else, I hydrate because you're very dehydrated first thing in the morning. So I drink at least 8 ounces of my electrolyte mix, maybe more. I then did a lot of research about what's the healthiest way to drink coffee. And I follow those instructions. I make my coffee. When the coffee's ready, maybe within an hour of waking up, still in a fasted state, no food, I go ahead and take 5 grams of leucine powder, straight leucine powder, and I mix them with the cup of coffee. What does it taste like? Not great, but not so revolting as I can't really drink it down. What price we pay to be healthy. Drink down the cup of coffee, wait a little while, maybe a half an hour, and then go in and work out as best I can and get as many body parts as I can. And then I'm done for the day. At that point, according to the theories, the leucine should be going to work, the mTOR should be stimulated, and my body should be concentrating all of its efforts on rebuilding muscle until at least maybe a couple hours later, 3 hours later, 4 hours later, when I have my first meal of the day and my body busies itself with digestion and other things. I've done this 3 mornings in a row. I've noticed some very noticeable and interesting changes. I don't urinate as much. I do retain the water. Last night, I slept all the way through the night. Normally, I have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That's just something old men do. I noticed an amazing amount of energy that I haven't had up until I started this. Now, is this all the leucine? Is it maybe the caffeine in the coffee? I've had caffeinated coffee and never felt like this alone. So I don't know, but everybody's asking me why, or suggesting that you're doing it wrong. Maybe you need to do it a different way. And I'm trying to let everybody know that this is well thought out, and I am not going to deviate from it every day because I'll never know what's working and what isn't. I have defined the experiment, and now I have to do it. And I am, and so far, so good. I'm not going to add the creatine in, which also has stimulation effects on muscle protein synthesis, and bodybuilders love it, and it also promotes mental acuity and cognition. But I think that this is, if there's any way to reclaim youth, let's say, reclaim the physiology of someone who is not suffering sarcopenia and not unable to do anything about it, this, I think, may have the best shot with the least possible harm, because these things are natural compounds. They're not steroids. They are amino acids in the case of leucine, and a compound of 3 amino acids in the case of creatine. So I'm doing this. I have a reason for doing the protocol that I'm doing. There's very little potential harm. Leucine is one of the most abundant amino acids found in animal products. And as a carnivore, I have been probably getting enough leucine in the food I eat. The only reason I'm supplementing it is because I don't feel like eating 2 ribeye steaks at 5 o'clock in the morning so that I can jumpstart mTOR past the threshold to supercharge the physiology that may, and we'll see, may allow me to build muscle again and reverse the sarcopenia. Theoretically, it has a great chance of working, and I'm very optimistic so far. Let this serve as just a brief introduction to the reasoning behind what seems like the madness of my decision, having been anti-supplementation for so long. Generally, I would say, let your physiology do it. When you take in the reality of what that same physiology does to your body as you get older, I changed my mind a little on this narrow range of things, and we'll see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. Thanks for listening. I hope this clarified some things for you. Not meant to be an end-all deep dive into the biochemistry of amino acids and muscle protein synthesis, but I do understand that stuff. So even if you don't understand my motives yet, just imagine that, yes, I do understand the chemistry behind it as well. And it seems like a logical and reasonable thing to do, even if I'm not crazy about the taste of that stuff ruining a perfectly good first cup of coffee in the morning. Thanks for watching. To be continued. In the meantime, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.